Hello, everybody. Welcome to our final session of Dudacon here. This session, we're hoping that you guys have come ready with a bunch of questions for Duda's product leaders around the org. I'm very happy to be joined by the rest of kind of our product group here at Duda. And before we get into questions for everybody, why don't we just do a quick round of introductions? Amir, if you want to go ahead and start there's an awesome picture of our team in our Tel Aviv office.
Yeah. So hi everyone. For those of you who didn't see me 2 days ago in the keynote, I'm Amir. I'm CTO and co-founder of Duda. 14 years with the company. Very excited to be here today to answer any question that you might have. And together with me, my product leaders, Avigail, Liron, and Jonathan, please introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, I'm Abigail. I'm a product leader for what we call the Scale Group. So our team is responsible for a lot of the features that are helping you build websites in a much more productive way. A lot of the different AI features that you saw in my earlier session if you joined us for that.
So hi everyone, I'm Liron. I'm a group leader at Duda as well, and I'm leading the website group. We are responsible on the core product of Duda, as you can imagine, I'm talking about the editor. And as you can see in my previous session, we are now all about Editor 2.0, launching it, hearing your feedback, and developing on top of it.
And hello everyone, I'm Jonathan. I'm the e-commerce group product manager in Duda, coming straight from the e-commerce session.
They already asked you everything.
That's great, guys. So as we get some questions kind of built up here from the group, I'm going to throw you guys each a softball question here right off the bat is, what are you guys most excited about, right? We announced some really cool features at the beginning of Dudacon that are coming, for each one of our kind of areas. Abigail, I'm going to point this to you first to take this, and if we can go through each one, that'd be great just to hear. What are you guys looking forward to the most? What do you think is going to have the biggest impact? What do you think our customers are going to be most excited about? I'm kind of curious of what your guys' opinion are.
Yeah. So of course, I'm excited about pretty much all of the features that I talked about in the session overall, but if I have to choose one of them, it's definitely what I showed at the end, the ability to generate that starting point of a site. And, it excites me the most because it really shows the focus that we've had on our AI strategy overall, where we really took our time figuring out how all of you want to work with AI, that level of control that you want to have, but also giving you the speed and making sure that we incorporate the important aspects of it, like SEO, performance, etc. So I'm really excited to see how it all comes together, all of the work that we've been doing over the last year or so, and all the features and feedback that you've given us coming into that one product overall.
Liron, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. So I think we are in a very exciting point right now. We worked really hard on Editor 2.0, really hard. We tested it. We A/B tested it with different customers, a lot of usability testing that we did, just to make sure that it cover everything that we wanted, and fill it with all the features that people love from the classic editor, and think about also the future. And I shared, the vision for the future and what we are planning to build. And I think that the thing that excites me the most is the strategy or the understanding that we can now build a lot of stuff on the structure that we built. So it's so powerful that, and I'll talk again and again and again about mega menu, because it's it's a dream come true. We worked so hard, we built this structure, and now we can actually bring to life a lot of different features that people asked for a long time. And I believe it will be also much easier to use, much flexible. So yeah, I think that I'm really excited about that.
But Jonathan, before you go here, just one comment for what Laron was saying. Like we're introducing kind of this like flexible section kind of concept, right? Like it's going to be in tabs. It's going to be part of like how mega menu's built. Like I personally am also excited about that, of just like giving that next level of design freedom over a lot of those individual kind of granular components. Those are things that we haven't had historically. And so it introduced kind of a new concept, right? It's like, we're kind of like abstracting a widget out a little bit and giving like a full box for you to kind of like, design into. I think it's a really cool concept that I think we're gonna be able to do a lot of things, interesting going forward with. Yeah. Like, I don't know if you like have anything else that you have planned or kind of thoughts for that in the long term, but I personally am also just kind of like excited about that concept where we can like play with the designs more. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that for example, like when we think about future complex widgets, that we are thinking about how to redo, for example, our contact form, right? No, it's not going to happen like this year, but probably like next year. So when we think about how to build it, so you're probably going to apply like the same concept instead of having one big widget that you do everything within it, and then like your design is limited. Instead, we're gonna break it to the small components, so you can add kind of like your own input fields, your own text, your own images, videos, and really design like the phone the way you want. So I think we're gonna apply it like to really lots of areas in the platform.
Yeah. Cool, Jonathan. Over to you. Like, what are you most excited about?
So I will pick two. First is coming up soon, what we call manual payments or offline payments, which allow merchants, not to get the payment when someone checks out, but to get it later, either in cash, phone, bank transfer, etc. And we see this very useful for many use cases. I would just name three. Service businesses, many times want to collect the payment after they provide the service, but they do want to sell it online to allow the customer to choose exactly what they want online. And as Juan mentioned, to have this website generating money and not just leads. Second, are merchants, who sell high-priced items and don't always want people to pay for these online, usually because of the credit card fees. And another thing that we have, usually for B2B businesses, we hear a lot about people wanting, to have like a catalog store in which someone doesn't pay, but, collects, creates a big order, and then the business negotiates like the price with them, depending on the quantity and the exact thing that they fill in the card. So offline payments, one. And the second one's actually going to be cheating because it's a lot of features combined together, but this is our EU readiness. E-commerce is a very much local game. And in the recent year, we invested a lot to make it compatible with EU, starting, with EU regulations and local regulations, like displaying lowest price in the last 30 days, which many countries enforce. Tax schemes that are relevant for the EU, and coming soon multi-language, which many people in the EU also need.
Yeah, definitely. It's like it's cool to see us getting a little bit deeper in e-commerce, where it's like there's really kind of region-specific features. No longer it's like big level features that we really need. It's like really geo-specific and region-specific stuff. Shows the maturity of the product and where we're at, right? Cool. So one of the first questions from the audience here that I want to throw up is from Rusty. He's asking about the new accordion. He's saying, cool, can an image and button be turned off by default? More FAQ needed in them. And every time you add a new field, you have to toggle them off. So, Laron, I don't know if you want to take this or if this is for Amir. I think actually this is, I think it's a little bit of a different answer that we're going to have here.
Yeah, so I'll start, maybe Amir will add. So I think that you'll find it very interesting that accordion is going to be one of the widgets that we are going to move to the new structure. And I think that all those questions actually in the end you'll be able to have all the freedom that you want in Accordion. You will be able to add anything that you want. You will be able to add widgets. You will be able to, design it in the way that you want. So we are starting with tabs. We are going to release it very soon, and then we are moving to Accordion. And this is, I think that the question is actually showing really great, like why I said that I'm so excited about, this new strategy.
Yeah, I would add, I think, just to add on what Liron said, that like in the short term, when we released the new Accordion, we wanted to kind of like make sure that you guys know about the new options of adding images, stuff that you couldn't do before. So we put it by default. Maybe it is a good idea to remove it like from the default when you add an Accordion. So we'll take it, we'll consider that. One thing that we did add, which is like very useful, is the duplicate item in Accordion. So what you can do today, you can remove the image from the first item and then just duplicate it as you want. So this will also save you some time.
Great. Next question, this is probably also for you, Liron, is around forms. Bazi is saying that he's struggling with forms and flexibility. A lot of items are missing from forms. It would be nice to allow forms to do more rather than pushing people to third-party solutions. I don't know if I comment generally on this, but do we have thoughts or plans, for this?
So as Amir mentioned before, we will not release anything new this year, but we are absolutely going to work on a new form in next year. And again, I'm just feeling that I'm repeating myself, so maybe I'll try to find new words to explain the same. But we are taking all the requests around forms, around submissions and design and logic behind forms. And this is the way that we are going to think about the new form. So we want to allow you, again, the flexibility, but also to add on top of it the logic and all the submissions, requests, and settings that you need. And I think it will be you will find it very helpful, and you will be able to use it very easily. So wait for it.
Well, I think also this is one of the reasons why Editor 2.0 is so important for us internally at Duda, right? It was we have this new structure and a way to build out kind of new layouts and new options there, and we're innovating on top of that, right? So it's this advancement that we've had internally that allows us to move faster on the tech side too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Great. So I want to ask kind of a question over to Abigail on the AI side. And this came in earlier from some of our pre-asked questions. If Duda AI keeps developing, and if Duda keeps developing this, how can it be better than alternatives we are using? How can Duda make the most of being integrated into the editor and work better and more accurately when trying to create kind of unique content with AI? So what's our strategy there, Abigail?
Yeah. So I think you kind of asked two questions combined there. So I'll take the first one, which is how do our solutions set us apart from the other options out there? And I talked a lot earlier in my session about how do we think about AI. And it's really about that agency focus. We're very focused on a specific customer type and understanding exactly what you need in each stage of the process. So it's not the same as an SMB who is building a website for themselves. And there's a lot of expectation that you can build a website in a click of a button, and you can get great results in 30 seconds. But we know the reality of the situation. You're not getting actual value from that. Yes, you have a website that's online, but what kind of quality is it going to bring you? Is it going to rank on Google? Is it going to give you the conversions that you're looking for? The majority of the time, no, it's not. So building in exactly what agencies are promising to their clients, that performance and that real value for their business is how we think about all of our AI features. So it's really just a different look on things. How can we support what you're promising them, and how can we build the features that do that? So we've started in the areas that you've seen so far, and we have very exciting things coming up in terms of how you can apply your workflow with AI that's built directly into the editor itself.
Great. Thank you for that, Abigail. Cool. I'm going to jump over, and this will probably be a question for Lerone, but it should be a quick one from Fabe. He asked earlier, do you plan on adding blog categories?
Yeah, so we are going to, we are planning to work on some, and I'll take you like behind the scene, like combining between a collection and blog that will allow the blog to have much more capabilities. And yeah, I think that this wish will also come true after we'll do that. Yeah, it's one of our plans for 2024.
Yeah. I would add, you can manually create categories today too if you want to, right? If you want to go and tag them with a specific tag, you go and create a category page for a specific topic, then you can filter the all post widgets for a specific tag. You can do that, but it's one-off, right? It's not going to automatically generate. You have to say, cool, here's my structured categories, or whatever that might be. So it can be done, but it's a bit of a workaround.
Yeah, that's what we did for the new product updates page on Duda. So if you go to the product updates, there are like I think 6 categories, and that's exactly what we did until we have it natively supported.
Right.
By the way, check out our new product updates page. Like we, the website, we're really proud of how it looks like.
Yeah, it's a blog on Duda, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The entire website is. The entire Duda website is running on Editor 2.0, and our marketing team is pretty happy with it.
Good, as they should be.
Yeah.
Great. I have a question that came in also earlier from Jonathan, and this is for you, Jonathan. Native e-commerce development, what's coming and what's going to bring it up to spec with the third-party store in terms of features and, more importantly, other e-com platforms out there. Can this be our go-to e-commerce platform for customers anytime soon?
Yeah, so I would actually say it already is. We look at the data and we see, many agencies can choose for each client website that they want to build and to add e-commerce, which solution to use. And we see more and more of them. Almost half of the cases, people choose to eventually publish and run the store with the native e-commerce. So I think numbers already speak for themselves, and we see this percentage increasing on the time. We've made a lot of progress in the last 2 years, and we are continuing to add. And I would just want to say that we are focusing on the features that we see that Duda merchants and Duda businesses and the agencies that build on top of that need. Like all e-commerce platforms have many features that can be very niche features for specific markets or specific verticals, but we go and prioritize it according to the audience. Like, for example, like it was in the previous session, like the service businesses. We know that many Duda agencies serve service businesses, and we develop ways for them to deliver selling services online. But I can just say, we are looking into product customizations coming, multi-language, as I mentioned, more payment gateways, and of course, next year, more and more developments and improving the e-commerce platform.
Yeah, great. I have another question probably for you, Jonathan, that came in from Alexis here a few minutes ago. Will payment processor be able to be added to the forms, for example, donations?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I have 2 answers, or 2 solutions that we will see. First, and this is probably sometimes early next year, we are going to introduce what we call product customization that allows you to combine form-like elements like text inputs or checkboxes and others within the product page. So each time a buyer buys or adds to the cart, they can add their inputs. So this is one solution for that. And I would say in the longer run, we do see ourselves adding payment capabilities into contact forms. And this is actually one of the reasons that led us to build Duda e-commerce, because we understood that we want to have a full Duda native technology stack to allow us to serve these solutions to our users.
Great, thank you. Cool. I'm gonna just keep going rapid fire questions here. We got a lot of questions from the community. So I have two here for Lerone that have come in. One, it's some very specific questions. The first one is from Clinton, and he asks, "Is there a plan to bring blog import and hide the header on specific pages in the editor in 2.0?" So blog import and hide on header. Are those coming? Yeah.
So the short question is, you will be able to do that. Blog import is something that we are working on. It's actually in QA stages, and it's going to be part of Editor 2.0 really, really, really soon. And I heard yes that hide the header per page is something that people asked. I saw it also in the keynote and the first day. And yeah, this is also something that we are working on. And it's important to say that we are still moving. We already moved the most important features that we had in the classic editor, but we still have some features that we need to move to the editor 2.0. And it's easy just to move feature to editor 2.0, but when we have the chance to do that, we also think about the feedback that you gave us for this for those features in the past. What will be easier for you? How can we build it a little bit more better for you, right? It's like, take for example the parallax that you are now can do in mobile. You will be able to do on mobile. I can assure you that when you'll see the UX of the hide page header on page, you will be very happy to see how you can do it very, very easily. So yeah, we are planning to do all that, and it's going to be available very soon. Some of it very soon and some less, but yeah, we are working on it. And it's not only like moving everything as they are, because we just need to allow you to do that. It's really important for us to do it a little bit better and
Totally.
put some great stuff in there according to your feedback that you gave us like over the years.
Yeah. Cool. One more question for you, Lerone, here from Jennifer, who asked, the amount of templates in 2.0 are less than the classic editor. At what rate is Duda producing new 2.0 templates?
So I think it's a question for Anat. No, I'm just
yes.
from the last session. Yeah, we have team in Duda, the content design team, that actually this is what they are doing. They are creating more and more templates, adding all the features, all the new options to the templates. So you will be able to take a template and get all the new capabilities that we are giving you. And they are working like, to build a template is not something that is easy. We are trying, to add all the features, trying that the template will look good, will be something that you can use for different verticals, for different use cases. But we are keep adding more and more templates all the time. And you'll see a lot of new templates. We are redesigning templates that we already have. We design new templates for the new editor. So yeah, we are working on it all the time and adding more and more templates.
Yeah, and I can also add to that like we're also investing quite a lot in building like new sections, especially sections that we can like fill with AI. So this is a big focus. And if you saw like our page builder demos and the build site with AI demo, we believe that like now is the era of AI, actually like investing in the sections area and making them like very flexible and dynamic is like very, very valuable. Instead of like starting just like with like one big template with lots of pages that maybe many of them are not relevant, you really kind of like build your pages on the fly according to your needs. And that's a big part of our investment, and I think big part of like what we expect like our customers to use in the coming months when building websites.
Yeah. Great. I'm going to jump on to the next question from Ricky, who asked this about almost 10 minutes ago. He was asking, we mainly use HubSpot for analytics. I would love to replace HubSpot and put more of an investment in Duda, but I feel analytics are lacking. Will any improvements be made in analytics? This is maybe Jonathan or Amir probably best here.
Yeah, I think like Currently, we don't have big plans to invest in analytics. We do have quite a lot of ways to integrate into other platforms besides Duda's own.
Definitely.
And we think that doing analytics really well takes a lot of investment. So we think for Duda to be able to provide an analytics solution like Google Analytics or like others, it's a lot of investment, and we think that it's not really core to what we do. So that's why we didn't prioritize making it much better. I do understand that our solution is a bit old. We do want to refresh it, so it's not like we're not going to invest in it at all. But I think people that want serious analytics probably integrate with others is still a better option.
Yeah. Just one comment about that regarding e-commerce. We know maybe it doesn't answer the HubSpot question, but again, to follow up on Amir, we know that's very important in e-commerce and that many use Google Analytics. So today, once you integrate the website in Duda with Google Analytics, you automatically get all the e-commerce events report, added to cart, purchases, dropouts, etc. And it's very easy and a standard way to manage that.
Cool. And a related analytics question, but on the performance side, came in from Gabby, who asked, could you let me know if site speed would be a data point included in the Duda stats? And Abigail, I think you were looking at this a while ago, right?
Yeah, I can take this one. So we definitely looked into including reporting on Core Web Vitals. We're obviously very proud of our stats when it comes to Core Web Vitals and how we're leading the market there. So we're more than happy to show that off for you in the dashboard and also help you keep track of how your site is performing. It's not on the roadmap at the moment, but we have already planned it out and we do expect to include it at some point.
Got it.
And right now, if people wants to see it, I would recommend using the Google Search Console.
Yes.
To store writers results. We also have an app in the App Store to connect very easily the Google Search Console. So I would use that for now.
Yeah. Also, WooCommerce, which is an app that we have, also tracks Core Web Vitals specifically.
WooRank, right?
Yes.
WooRanks, yeah.
WooRank, yes, yeah. They do that, yeah. And then like Amir said, Google makes the data public, right? So you can query it. It's called the Crux data set. It's the same thing that goes into Search Console. Same thing if you run it in PageSpeed Insights. So you see kind of the real world data there. Yeah. Cool. Jonathan, this is a question for you from Deborah. Do you have a solution for companies that sell training and workshops? For example, can a person buy a workshop or a subscription?
Yes. So we actually have already many websites doing that in Duda e-commerce. Actually, almost 1 out of 6 e-commerce sites in Duda doesn't sell physical products at all, and many out of these 1/6 sell trainings, and it can be online, it can be physical, it can be one time, it can be recurring, it can be different times that people choose, which one of the dates they want to go into. I saw this with dog training courses, with CPR training for professional nurses, with many others. So yeah, definitely it is. And when you add a product or you want to create a new entry in the catalog, just choose, you have a small drop-down service offering, and you will have all these configured.
And we also have subscriptions, right, Jonathan?
Yes, it can be recurring on, I think, all daily, weekly, monthly, and annual basis.
Great. Cool. Cool. Maybe this is a question for Jonathan, or maybe it's just the group in general. Will there be a mobile app for to manage clients and websites?
There will be, but I think it will take us a little bit of time. We do understand that this is important. We do have today a limited solution for managing on mobile, and this is one of the areas that we need to get to. I think just for folks to understand, we get so many different requests, maybe thousands of just on our idea board. I think we have several thousands of feature requests. And the Duda team is sizable, but obviously we cannot do everything. So one of our I think one of the most difficult part of our jobs here for all of us on this call is really to try to prioritize what to do and what not to do. And we understand that we need to always choose and say no to many different things. So lots of your questions of those features, those are great things that we want to add, but we kind of they're not part of the current roadmap for this year, because we think there are more critical things for you that we can develop.
Got it. Cool. I have a question that was asked earlier before we started the session from the community. Is can I migrate templates and sections to Editor 2.0? This is for Lerone, obviously.
Yeah. So you can't migrate for now full templates from the classic editor to Editor 2.0. But sections, it's a different story. If you build the section on the classic editor, you can't migrate it. But if you use the hybrid mode and you used a flex mode and the section is a flex section, you will find it automatically in the Editor 2.0. You don't need to migrate it. So everything that you build on flex in the classic editor will wait for you in Editor 2.0 out of the box. You don't need to do anything. So it's very, very easy in this case. I'll just add, and I know that it wasn't the question, but I'll just add that all the widgets that you build, like the custom widget, will be available automatically in Editor 2.0. Everything that you use, of course, all your settings, everything will be there. I think, and we see, and I think that we saw it very beautiful in a NAT session. We see people look at the potential of what they can build in Editor 2.0, understand that sometimes, the templates are a little bit not trendy enough, and it might be the time to redesign some stuff. So as we in Duda, I can share that this is exactly, some of the things that push us to, redesign a lot of the templates is moving them to Editor 2.0. So I see it as a, opportunity to look at your templates and try to think if some of them maybe you can redesign them and then rebuild them very easily in Editor 2.0 because you already have all the assets, but you can get great results. So I know that we did it, and this is how we looked at it. So maybe it's a good option for you as well.
Got it. Thank you. Cool. Lerone, I have another blog question that came in from Amanda a few minutes ago. Here is
now Amir is taking the blog question.
Amir's taking the blog questions. Okay. Do you plan on making the blog bilingual anytime soon?
The blog bilingual, meaning support kind of multi-language on blog posts.
Yep.
There are no concrete plans to do that. We do have plans to add bilingual to our internal collections, so you can build dynamic pages with multi-language support. So it might solve a lot of use cases, but for blog posts currently we don't have a plan for it.
Got it.
What you can also do is write posts in different languages and tag them according to the language,
right.
And use the filters that we have now on the all post widgets and so on to use that. So that's another option if you want to have a blog with more than one language.
Right, kind of the same category solution we discussed earlier, but a language is a category. Right.
Exactly. Yes.
Right. Got it. Just a general question that came in earlier, and I'm going to point this to you, Amir. Duda has a strong reputation for kind of stability and performance, right? We maintain the platform that stays up. Our sites perform well. Can you share challenges that we faced while scaling our infrastructure, right? Our sites continue to get more visits every single month. We have to grow the number of servers. We have to manage all of that in AWS. What are our challenges, and how do we kind of maintain that while improving security?
Yeah, I think this is really one of the most challenging aspects of running a service which has lots of users and lots of objects, and keep on building on top, but still keeping everything running. So for that, we invested quite a lot in like infrastructure. So one thing is that like we built like a full CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous deployment, which means that like when our developers are like writing code and pushing this code is going through lots of automated tests, um, from unit tests to integration tests to visual regression tests and so on. And then like only when they passes all these tests, only then like this code is going automatically to production. And when we deploy to production, we use what we call the green-blue deployment, which means that we have like bunch of servers which are running the old version, and we kind of like spin up new servers running the new version, and we start to direct some of the traffic to the new servers, not all of it. And then if there are like errors, like in the log, automatically the deployment is like failing and rolling back. And only when we see that after 40 minutes, 50 minutes, everything is okay, only then like the new version is coming. So investing a lot in building and deploying like the software in a way that will be automated, and we try to kind of find all the regressions automatically. It's not always the case, especially with something so visual and drag and drop like Duda. So from time to time, we do have like a regression, and then also we try to fix it as soon as possible, within like minutes. So that's one of the things. Another thing that we do is we try to give kind of like more autonomy to the teams, to the dev teams in Duda. So we have kind of like ownership. We have lots of like what we call microservices, and the teams are responsible for different services. So kind of like trying to scale it up by kind of like having different services for teams, so not everyone are working on the same thing together. So these are just some of the stuff that we do.
Yeah, cool. Great. Amir, I have another question for you here that came in from Jonathan before the session started, saying, "Don't bite my head off. Pricing. We all know that the pricing increase went down like a lead balloon, and we have tried to move on and are still committed to using Duda. However, there's nothing to bridge the gap between the Foresight agency plan and custom plans. As we scale our business, can Duda offer better pricing as our volume grows to keep us competitive and to keep Duda competitive in the overcrowded industry? Bulk pricing for volume is very common on most platforms. Why not Duda? Why is the 50th site still costing the same as the 5th?"
Yeah. So first, I totally understand that price increase was not fun for any one of our customers. No one likes that, and I do acknowledge that. I think maybe first, let me say a few words of why we did the price increase.
Sure.
I think there are few reasons. First, the world really is becoming more expensive, and we can see it everywhere. And also for Duda, the world is becoming more expensive. Our employees, our services that we use, to provide the services becoming more expensive. That's one. Second, we do add a lot of new capabilities and features to the platform that also cost Duda money. I give some examples. We introduced a new icons library, for example, with millions of new icons you can search for. It's not for free. Duda is paying for it. We add a lot of AI capabilities to the platform. This is also not for free. Duda is paying for it. So also our cost is becoming better. And also when we looked at the market, we feel that we're still kind of giving very, very fair prices compared to others in our market. So that's and I think the most important thing that everyone should understand is that by doing this price increase, it really allows us to continue to innovate and continue to build more features and add more value. In the end, the sites that we sell, this is the revenue that Duda is getting, right? It's almost all the revenue is coming from those site units. So by getting more, we can invest more back for you as agencies, invest in your business for the future and add more value. So that's why we did it. And then about bulk pricing. So it's a good question. First, we do have bulk pricing for our custom plans.
Yep.
We do understand that the gap is might be too much for smaller agencies, absolutely. But we do have better pricing when you get to real scale. And in terms of like having more tiered pricing for our lower plans, this is something that we are thinking about. How we will make it work? Will it work right? So it's not something that we ignore. We do discuss it, and we might come up with something. And by the way, also like right now there is a promo, 50% discount on new sites, annual plans that you can definitely like take advantage of already today.
Awesome. There's a related pricing question that I'll just ask quickly while we're on the topic here, and maybe this is for you, Abigail. Is can we have 20 websites under the white label tier?
Yeah. So you can definitely have 20 websites. You could have 200 websites under the white label tier. But of course, each of our plan is meant to scale with the size of your business. So you get more features in each plan, and we break down the features in the plan based off of how we think they are going to help you grow overall. So there's no limit on the number of websites, but of course, at a certain point, like Amir mentioned, the custom plan can be a great option for getting that bulk discount price on sites, but also for the amount of scale at that point. There are a lot of features available under that plan that can help you to scale your business even more.
Yeah. Great. Jared is asking, will Penny become the mascot for Duda? Amir, this is you.
But I would love that, as I said in the keynote, I have to put her on every presentation or demo that I do that. So all the Duda employees, they already know her very well, and she's our little cutie. So I will vote for that.
Cool. Great. A question that just came in, and I'm going to direct this to you, Jonathan, is how can an e-commerce business take advantage of Duda for Google Merchant? I assume this is connecting to the Merchant Center at Google.
Yeah. So this is one of the features that we released this year, and for any store or e-commerce website on Duda e-commerce, we automatically generate a feed. You just go to the Google tools, and it's also linked from the store. You copy this URL and you paste it in Google's Merchant Center, and automatically we update this feed each time the merchant changes prices, changes product, changes anything else, and Google automatically reads it and has all the data from the store available for Google.
Yeah. Great. I'm going to go back for a little bit here. And Erica asked a question a few minutes ago. Will there be an integration with Zoom or another platform that customers can go straight to a Zoom through a button on the website? I'm actually not sure who best to direct this to here. So if you know, jump in.
Yeah, so maybe I can answer it. So we actually introduced a Zoom widget when COVID hit. I think we released it probably April 2020, something like that.
Yep.
And the reality was that after and it was pretty popular back then, but when we looked at data earlier this year, we saw that very, very few customers were using it, while it was quite expensive to maintain, as Zoom broke their SDK every second month. So we decided, so we took a decision to remove it because we really didn't see enough of usage. So that's where we're at with Zoom.
Great.
Because I think you can definitely link from a site to a Zoom meeting, but the reality is that most users want to use Zoom using the native application, if it's the mobile app or the native app on desktop, and not so many wanted to use the web interface within the website. So I think that was the reason for the low adoption of this feature.
Yeah, I would also say it's probably a little more common for some booking tools to have that kind of natively integrated in. Where okay, great, maybe a booking, you set out an appointment, and then once that appointment time comes up, and a link is emailed to either Zoom or Google Meet or whatever it might be as part of that. And so we do have some tools that do that type of thing in the App Store and make kind of that booking connection. But we not directly with the Zoom directly, right? Yeah. Great. a quick question that came in from Erica a few minutes ago, and Jonathan, I'm going to point this to you. For a car dealership, how many rows and columns can you have in a collection?
Yeah, so we support thousands of roles. Like our collection technology is very strong, but since this depends on the pricing and the plan, I suggest to go into our support portal and check the details and see if it fits the needs of that specific site.
Yeah, we have different tiers, right? Different limits for different account tiers, right? Got it. Great. Another question that came in earlier, and I'm going to point this to you, Jonathan. Native e-commerce is kind of becoming a bigger focus for Duda. What specific integrations or features are you most excited about that are going to help agencies drive value for their small business customers?
Yeah. So I first want to mention like a few apps that the App Store team, you guys delivered very recently, and maybe you also can expand about them. But there were major features that were missing on the Duda e-commerce platform, and we also saw that integration is the best path for them because we don't want Duda to develop things that we don't have, the edge of, and we don't have the advantage in developing. So. In overall, it was a lot about email marketing and reviews, and we have some more coming up. Maybe Russ, you can share more details about that.
Yeah, for sure. So, like two big things from an integration perspective that we have coming up. One is with JudgeMe. JudgeMe is the biggest review provider or like product reviews in the market today. They're going to be integrating into the Duda platform, and we're going to kind of give them and make them available. And then two is an integration with Printify. And so Printify will allow you to set up, branded merch, whether it's a t-shirt or a mug or car mats, or they have a whole wide range of things that you can sell, and then sync that inventory between the Duda e-commerce platform and Printify directly. So you can go and create it in Printify and then sell it directly on your Duda site. And then Printify will actually do the printing and fulfillment and delivery and all that type of fun stuff.
Yeah, and actually this is like a use case that we already see today, and this is going to make it much easier. We see many businesses from any vertical creating their own hats and t-shirts and mugs and selling them online as well as their services. So it's a very interesting opportunity.
And we want to, once we have the Printify integration live, we want to rebuild the Duda swag shop with it.
That's the plan. Yeah,
I think there's still a question about it. Yeah,
there it is. Revealing our plans, Amir. You're ruining my thunder for later. Great. So another question that came in earlier, and I'm going to point this to you, Amir, is how do we see agencies really leverage enterprise features in the kind of do-it-yourself website building space, right? We have some features like simple editor that are like DIY. We hear customers kind of asking about it. But I'm curious what you think in terms of like how customers can leverage this going forward. Yep.
So the question is like how to use the DIY features, how to use the custom. What's
well, I guess here let me ask the question again. So it's like you guys are burning the DIY builder into people's brains, and this comes from a place of love, but people really would like to see what other options or use cases go into like an upgrade into the enterprise features.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously like DIY is a big thing about like the enterprise feature, and many of our customers use that. But beside I think like the DIY, the going to the custom plans or the enterprise feature, I think like the first big one is everything that is related to automation. So agencies that we have, they use our API to automate like different aspects of their business. Let me give you some examples of what customers are doing. One, customers are automating customer acquisition by using very dynamic demand generation, landing pages using API, and connecting them to very specific ad campaigns. That's one. Second, customers are automating their site creation process, especially like the planning part of site creation process. So agencies that want to scale, they have some kind of a process where they're asking customers questions, collecting data, and so on. They're storing all those, like, all this data today, like, in their platforms. And then use your API, they're creating sites and pushing all this data to the site, to the content library. So when the designers like want to go and also already build the site, they already have, all the phone number, addresses, logo, colors that they want to use, about us, and so on. And then they go from there, and they significantly shortening the time it takes them, like, to build the website. Then another thing that people are doing are later on pushing content into the website. Creating more blog posts, like, injecting content to pages according to different needs. For example, providing content services at scale, charging customers not just for building a website, but also building content services, part of SEO packages, and using kind of like the API in order to generate content and to push that to websites. So it's a lot about like the automations, allowing you to scale, to get more customers, to work more efficiently, to be more productive. So I think this is like one major thing of the enterprise plans. The second thing is pricing. The enterprise plan is not cheap, but then like the price per site is going like down significantly, and like for agencies like that are achieving scale, this becomes very important. And the third thing I think is like the human touch. Like enterprise plan, you get priority support, you get an account manager. Like we have an amazing team of account managers that are pretty strategic and helping like those agencies to really grow. So I think these are the three major areas of value.
Great.
What do you think, Russ? What would you add? You also have some experience with that.
with what? With DIY?
Well, no, it's like the enterprise plan features.
No, yeah, I mean you're absolutely right. Right, the biggest thing is like I think our API, right, allowing our customers to really automate a lot of kind of the actions, right. Like we talked about this in the keynote, right, where we're moving towards full APIing of websites. We're not 100% there. We have a little bit of ways to go, but like I think there's a pretty interesting future there of like pre-generated websites and having more kind of fine-grained control a little bit of the design, because we can like put in sections as part of that. I think there's a pretty interesting future there for us in that space. Yeah.
And I just want to add on that we also have the Zapier capabilities that allow you to leverage our capabilities of API, but through the benefits of Zapier. So they make those capabilities a lot more accessible. And we continue to expose a lot of our API capabilities via Zapier as well. And we've seen, great cases of our customers who have actually come from a not custom plan, just to use those Zapier integrations and have managed to get to immense scale just using that. So that's definitely an area to check out as well.
Yep. Great. A question for you, Abigail, while we're on this is, will we integrate Miro with Duda?
So I like this question a lot because it interests me why you would want to have Miro specifically in Duda. So you can reach out to our support team and tell them you want to talk to me. And I would be happy to hear about it. And why does it interest me so much? If you saw my session before, we talked about going into the planning space. And we love to learn more about how agencies are planning their websites. I'm going on the assumption that's what you're using Miro for, but if it's not the case, let me know. And so at the moment, we don't plan to integrate with Miro specifically, but we do plan to do a lot of things that you might be doing in Miro today in the area of planning your website, understanding the structure of a website, seeing it on a high level, etc. So, happy to talk more about it with you.
Great.
And you love Miro yourself, right, Abigail?
I love Miro.
I wanted to say that
I can't deny it.
anytime you can speak about Miro,
Yeah.
That in Canva, like, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. I have a question I'm going to direct probably towards Amir, but anyone can take it as well. I'm curious how, here at Dudacon, we announced a lot of big features that we're working on, right? Editor 2.0 is big, kind of the tabs layout is big. A lot of our AI improvements of AI Site Builder are big features. A lot of our e-commerce features are big features. Product customization is bigger than you think. Multi-language is bigger than you probably think. Those are like big projects. How do we balance that with, a lot of the small updates that are needed in the platform, right? We get, like we've been talking about, we get thousands of requests from our customers, and we do need to make, incremental small improvements. So how do we balance that from a, development and roadmap perspective?
Who wants to take it? Me?
You can.
Yeah,
you
you
can
can
start.
start.
and
We
then
will add.
So I think it's always like very surprising for us that sometimes we release a very small feature that takes maybe just a few days to develop, and we get much more excitement from our customers than sometimes features that takes half a year to develop. So I think we understand that like small features are very important, and like missing small capabilities are very annoying. And we did have a problem like in this area, I think, in the past. And what we decided to do, we came up with this concept that we called SIS, which is stands for small improvement sprints. So we kind of like try to schedule a few of those every year, and in those like small improvement sprint, we kind of like leave all the big project that we are working on, and for a few weeks just work on like small features. There's a lot of work going on before like those like sprints to prioritize. We rely heavily, not just, but rely heavily on the idea board and on the voting on the idea board. So guys, if there are things that are important for you, do use the idea board, vote on like those ideas. If like an idea is getting like 500 votes, like the chance that we'll prioritize it versus an idea with 50 votes is like really, really high. And of course, like we take also like other aspects into consideration, but that's how we try to do that. We also like another thing that we try to do is like we ask like our teams like when they develop a feature and release it, not to leave it, but to reiterate on it and like add more capabilities after hearing feedback once it is being released. That's another aspect of it.
Yeah, I think that also every feature that we are developing, and not all the features like brand new, right? It's based on other features that we have, or we are improving different features. We're asking ourselves, what is the feedback that we got on those features and how we can improve it while developing something that is new based on that. It's like the example that I gave you when we moved features from the classic editor to editor 2.0, but it's happened all the time. We are working like on a huge project for something, but then we're crossing different small features that we need to use or need to touch while developing this huge project, and then we can do some small improvements while we are developing it. So we are taking this chance to also improve the features.
Great. That's great, guys. Cool. I'm going to ask a question from Jared that came in a few minutes ago. He's asking, is there any plans on setting up a Duda marketplace where agencies can buy pre-designed sections or maybe templates?
No concrete plan today. It was a project that won one of the internal hackathons that we did.
Yeah.
I think like 2 years ago. We think it is like cool and viable, but currently not prioritized.
Yeah. Deborah here is asking, do you have a chatbot feature live and with AI or without AI?
That's a question to you, Raz.
We don't have we have a few apps in the App Store that do this. So like agents.ai does this where they collect a bunch of information about the business and then they try and respond kind of with AI as well. And we have a few other tools that are looking to do it based off kind of the full content of the website. It's too early to give details on it, but we have a few developers looking at building that type of thing too.
Yeah, but for those things, like we look at like apps to integrate, we don't see it today as much as a core to do that, to build it ourselves, probably.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. Great, guys. Any last minute thoughts or kind of things that you guys want to share as a group? We are at the end of our hour here. So if there's anything else that you guys want to add, feel free to throw it in. If not, we can wrap up and say thank you.
Yeah, maybe I'll just add one thing and say we decided to do this session to kind of put ourselves out there. We think it's super important to be in touch with all of our users to understand what your needs are. We can learn a lot from the idea board, like Amir said, and other things like that, but having this interaction with you is really important to us. So we do look at what you're saying everywhere, and we really value that and take it into consideration in all the things we build. So hopefully you saw that through all the sessions that you've seen in Dudacon overall. And yeah.
Thank you for asking and let us answer, right?
Thank you so much, everybody. I'm really happy to wrap up Dudacon here. It's been an awesome 3 days of content and kind of information that we've put out. Really excited about the coming things that we have, and really hopefully our customers are excited too. So again, thank you, everybody. And that's it for Dudacon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.